most of y'all weren't following me when I first started to get into this, but I did a report, or I reported on how black farmers were being screwed by the USDA some like a year or two ago, and it finally came out that these farmers were able to win. It's not like a settlement or a lawsuit or anything like that, but the USDA is going to pay black, and of course they have to save minorities, other minorities, $2 billion, pretty much for some of the bad things that have happened with discrimination from them. So let's read up on this because I'm very interested in this topic. I think it's very important. I did another video a long time ago also about how when they looked at how much land was taken from black people from years like 1910 up to 1997, the value of the land that was taken from black people in America was valued at $326 billion. Billion. $326 billion. That's how much land was taken from us. That's the value of how much land that was taken from us through various means from 1910 to 1997. Right? And we never been paid back for that. We never got anything. It's just like, yeah, this was just a normal thing at one point to, hey, I see some black people with a bunch of land. I need that up off you, eminent domain, or I'm just gonna straight up be violent to you and make you leave the land, and I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna claim it because it was abandoned, like all different types of stuff like that. So let's read a little bit about this. Black and other minority farmers are getting $2 billion from USDA after years of discrimination, years as in like since the beginning. Columbia, Missouri, AP. Okay. I'll tell you after this. The Biden administration has doled out more than $2 billion so they made sure to say the Biden administration because it was the Biden administration that I did the video on that neglected black farmers badly. But I guess they tried to do a little bit right, so that's fine. That's fine. $2 billion in direct payments for black and other minority farmers discriminated against by the U.S. Department of Agriculture and the president announced Wednesday. More than 23,000 farmers were approved for payments ranging from $10,000 to $500,000, according to the USDA. Another 20,000 who planned to start a farm but did not receive USDA loan received between $3,500 and $6,000. Most payments went to farmers in Mississippi and Alabama. Okay, shout out. My family way back is from Mississippi, so hopefully they got some of that money because we do have land in Mississippi. USDA Secretary Tom Vilsack, crazy name, told reporters that the aid is not compensation for anyone's loss or the pain endured, but is acknowledgement by the department. That's very interesting. The aid is not compensation for anyone's loss or the pain endured, but is acknowledgement by the department. So what kind of contract do y'all think they had to sign to get that money? I ask again, what type of contract do y'all think they had to sign to get that money? The USDA has a long history of refusing to process loans from black farmers, approving smaller loans compared to white farmers, and in some cases, foreclosing quicker than usual when black farmers who obtained loans ran into problems. National Black Farmers Association President John Boyd Jr. said the aid is helpful, but he said it is not enough. Facts. It's like putting a bandage on somebody who needs open heart surgery, Boyd said. We want our land. I want to be very, very, very clear about that. That we want our land is in reference to what I said earlier. From 1910 to 1997, we have had so many million acres stolen from us that it amounts to $326 billion. This comes from a report done by what is she, an economist, I think? Her name is Dania Francis, Dr. Dania Francis. She did a report on this. Y'all want to look it up, look it up. Her name is Dr. Dania, Dania, last name Francis, Francis. She did a report on farming and how much, just look up Dania Francis and black land loss, and you'll see it. Boyd is fighting a federal lawsuit for 120% debt relief for black farmers that was approved by Congress in 2021. $5 billion for the program was included in the $1.9 trillion COVID stimulus package, but the money never came. White farmers in several states filed lawsuits arguing their exclusion was a violation of their constitutional rights, which prompted judges to halt the program shortly after its passage. Now, this is what I did the video on, right? because they had this American Rescue Plan bill, right, in 2021, $1.9 trillion, this COVID, this like stimulus package. 5 billion of it was to go to these black farmers, black specifically going to the black farmers. So Biden and his team, they tried, like Congress, they tried to do it, right? And then white farmers came and did their little jealousy thing and said, nah, I don't like that the black farmers who've been discriminated against for 200 years, I don't like that they getting some payback. Give us some money or don't give them money at all. And guess what? They said, you know what, y'all are right, we're going to put that on pause. But guess what? They ended up going forward with this other money for the USDA and for farming, and that money did get distributed to everybody, but black farmers was left out of that. So it's sick really how this stuff worked, but you know how that go. Faced with the likelihood of a lengthy court battle that would delay payments to farmers, Congress amended the bill and offered financial help to a broader group of farmers. A new law allocated $3.1 billion to help farmers struggling with USDA-backed loans and $2.2 billion to farmers who the agency discriminated against. Now think about this. There was a $5 billion package set aside for black farmers specifically. These white people sued, right? They halted it. So Congress said, you know what? We're going to come back and say, let's not do that. Let's actually reallocate $3 billion of the dollars to go to USDA-backed loans, farmers struggling with USDA-backed loans, meaning if you already have a loan, we'll give you some money to help you maintain the loan that you have. And if they were already underfunding black people, that means most of our farmers weren't getting those loans. So that money was going to white people. And then $2.2 billion to pay farmers who the agency discriminated against. Wardell Carter, who is black, said no one in his farming family got as much as access to a loan application since Carter's father brought 85 acres of Mississippi land in 1939. He said USDA loan officers would slam the door in his face. If black farmers persisted, Carter said officers would have the police come to their homes. Without a loan, Carter's family could not afford a tractor and instead used a horse and a mule for years. And without proper equipment, the family could farm at most 40 acres of the property, cutting profits. When they finally received a bank loan to buy a tractor, Carter said the interest rate was 100%. Are y'all hearing what I'm talking about right now? When they finally got a bank loan to buy a tractor, Carter said the interest rate was 100%. This is the stuff that they don't like to talk about in the mainstream. When they say, hey, man, stop blaming everybody for your problems. Just go out and do it. We try to go out and do it, and the banks want to give us 100% interest rate. Financial slavery. Boyd said he has watched as his loan applications were torn up and thrown in the trash and has been called racial epithets and was told to leave in the middle of loan meetings so that the officer could speak to white farmers. We face blatant, in-your-face discrimination, said Boyd. And I did personally. The county person who was making farm loans spat tobacco juice on me during a loan session. I would have went to prison that day. They wouldn't have put me in the local jail. What I would have did to him, they would have put me in prison that day. At age 65, Carter said he's too old to farm his land, but he said if he receives money through the USDA program, he will use it to get his property in shape so his nephew can begin farming on it again. Carter said he and his family want to pitch in to buy his nephew a new tractor too. You wouldn't even, and it's crazy because as black Americans, we come through this country farming because of what we were forced to do for a long time, but also what skills we came into this country with while we were brought here. Farming is something that we were very, very, very good at. So the fact that like black farmers now is like a trendy thing, is like, oh, he's a black farmer. That's like a new thing. As they stripped that history, and now they're trying to act like black farming is now some new thing that we want to try to get into, when really it is something that we were experts and excelled at. And it was taken. You understand? So shout out to Boyd. He's been fighting for a long time. We talked about him. There was a guy named, I think his name was Thomas Burrell. Sorry if I'm saying the wrong name, if I'm saying your name. He was scamming black farmers all over the South. He was telling them that he was part of this organization. And he really wasn't, but he was making each black farmer pay him $500 to join the lawsuit. My family got caught up in that. My family paid the man $500 or whatever to get joined the lawsuit. And of course, like I said, it was a scam. You know, I did a video on it. I reported on it, all that type of stuff. Nothing ever came of it. The man, like I pulled up his records, his state filings and everything like that. He tried to change his addresses so nobody could find him. Like, you know, I put all that out. But the man, he got my family. But even with us trying to get something and we've been taken advantage of, you still got people popping up with scams against black farmers. And this was 2 years ago, right? So, you know, some sick people out here and they try to do black farmers very dirty. Well, you know, we can't stand for it. But